Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rewind Rental. I'm your host, Seb, joined by Callum and Evan. Today we're going to be talking about the Darjeeling Limited by Wes Anderson. Now, this is a new format we're trying. It's Callum's pick today, so if Callum wants to do the plot, because last week Evan told the plot of Return of the Living Dead.
Poorly.
So Callum, if you'd like to do the plot and lead us into the money facts, you have the floor.
Yep. A year after their father's funeral, three brothers travel across India by train in an attempt to bond with each other. That's the plot.
That's basically it, yeah. Well, we'll discuss this in further depth. But now to the money facts. Thank you, Callum.
Well, its opening weekend it made 134,000 on a budget of 16 million. And that was all I could really find. Oh, domestically in America it made 11,000 in its whole cinema run, and internationally
So
it
didn't
made
do as well.
yeah in worldwide it made 35,000. Sorry, 35 mil.
Oh,
Only 11k during its.
Sorry, I meant
America
11
run.
mil.
I was gonna say
I didn't look
that
these
was-
up before,
Oh.
and I just did it then because I forgot to do them. So I had to do them on the fly.
Come on, it's your own
Okay.
pick and you forgot. Jesus.
I was gonna say 11 mil. Jesus, 11k. That's
No, it did
pretty
did a
low
lot
for old
better.
Wessie boy.
No, so that's
Is-
yeah.
So, that's it. Yeah. What do you guys think? Who wants to start first?
I'll start
suppose
off.
Alright.
I fucking love this movie. I'm a massive Wes Anderson fan. He can do no wrong. I love all of his movies. So I'm
enough.
very unbiased. No, very biased. No, I'm not unbiased. I'm very biased with this movie.
We're having problems today.
You
So was that all? Well, that's the podcast. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, we're
Anyway,
off. See you next week.
We're off. Evan, sorry, you were about to start before I
No,
rudely interrupted.
it's fine. So this is my first Wes Anderson film that I've seen. I'm familiar with his stuff. I just haven't watched any of his movies. I enjoyed it. It's not the kind of movie I normally like. Definitely not the kind of thing I normally would sit down and watch of my own accord. But no, it's an enjoyable watch. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. I think if I had, even though I'm not a comedy person, if I had to pick something that wasn't like a horror comedy or something, I'd pick a movie that's this kind of comedy, I think.
It's got that
I-
really dry sort of comedy, which I think is sort of the best.
Yeah,
sort of
I
comedy.
like stuff that doesn't, like, pause for you to laugh. I don't like that sort of thing. In, like, I don't know, I guess you call it sitcom type comedy, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very. I found it to be a very, it's very Wes Anderson-y because he has a very unique style. All his films have the same. There's a lot of master shots, a lot of pans, a lot of mid shots as well, a lot of medium shots.
He uses a lot
'Cause
of...
it-
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, he has a lot of it's like a lot of storybook framing. I know I've said this in I think an episode before, but it's very well compositioned. Like the background and every minute detail goes into is thought of.
I think this is actually the least Wes Anderson-y movie out of all of them, because I think
disagree.
a lot of, like, if you look at Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, those are like full Wes Anderson. Like every tiny little thing is exactly done. Like this, yeah, you can tell everything's been done, but it still it doesn't feel like over the top, like style over substance, which I think some people feel some of his movies feel like.
This is gonna be a bit of a tangent, but on the note of people saying that about films, I don't like that phrase. I think style is substance, for me at least. Like,
I'm not familiar with the phrase.
I don't know. Like, I just a lot of people say that about a lot of different things. They say it about Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive and a few other things.
Oh, Neon Demon.
Yeah, Neon Demon, stuff like that. That people call Neon Demon movies like that style over substance, but I think the style is enough substance of its own to carry the film. And I think even though Wes Anderson has a lot more to it, to his films other than just style, I think it's the same for him too. In that I could happily watch a movie that has nothing. If everything else is terrible and just had his style, I'd be happy with that. Because that's enough for me to go off to watch a film.
Yeah, it's very well balanced for him. He's a very perfectionist type of director. In saying that, in reference to substance, some directors would put too much into it, and I'd call that substance abuse. But
Nice.
bit of drug pun. Don't leave me. In the scale, or where I'd put this compared to his other films, because basically the ones I have seen is Isle of Dogs, Life Aquatic, this, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I think a bit of The Royal Tenenbaums when it was on TV once. Moonrise Kingdom, like 5 minutes of it, because my mum rented it at Blockbuster, and I was just like, oh, this is not my thing. But as I've matured, I think so is, like everyone, so is my taste. So is people's taste. So I think it's definitely probably one I'd have to go back and rewatch. I'd put this on like the complete other side of the spectrum compared to Life Aquatic, because Life Aquatic was very, very artistic, very a lot of color use, a lot of why's my mind gone blank? It's very arty compared to Life Aquatic. Personal preference, I wouldn't say it's his best film. I kind of preferred Fantastic Mr. Fox as a story sense.
Interesting.
Like most of it is. Some people, everyone has their favorite. Not in saying that, none of them are bad. I'm not saying it's not a bad film. It's just not my personal pick.
No, I get you.
Because I know, Wes Anderson, all his films cover like some social aspect, or like things that people wish they'd want to do. Like in this film, for instance, they have Adrian Brody's character. I think he's Peter.
Yeah.
And they have he like interrupts the Russian ladies yelling at the dinner at the table next to him.
German women.
The German, sorry. He yells at the German women, and he's just like, can you stop? Can you stop? Can you shut up for a bit? And then in like Fantastic Mr. Fox, they have I compared that to that scene where he's buying the tree from Badger, Bill Murray's character, and they have that scene where like they go around the table and they square up at each other, and they say, "Are you cussing at me?"
Oh yeah, are you pointing and cussing at me?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of that dry wit kind of anger over speech.
He does.
It's very vague.
He does dialogue super well. Like that's his one. That and the visuals. That's just his forte.
Oh, his dialogue is very unique. You could pick out a Wes Anderson film dialogue. Every film, I can back this up because I've seen it happen. Every film that he's done, I've seen like a compilation of it. All his characters have like either say "by the way." In any of the film, there's always the phrase "by the way" when they're talking. It's just a little thing, but I noticed that all these characters, like Owen Wilson's like, "Oh, by the way, I never told you that I loved you. Like, you're my brother." Every character that it's happened in Bottle Rocket, Life Aquatic, Mr. Fox, Isle of Dogs. They all say "by the way."
Do you think it's accidental? Or do you think it's just something that he says, so he puts it in his dialogue and doesn't notice?
I think based on his attention to detail, I think it's. Not to be an English teacher, because English teachers, how that stereotypically it's like they read To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's like, yes, he rolled in a tire. What's that mean? Means his life's going downhill? No, he just rolled in a tire and landed at. Who was the bad guy in To Kill a Mockingbird again? But he landed at Boo Radley's house. It's like it's symbolic. No, he just rolled there.
No, I see what you mean. I think Wes Anderson's that kind of director where he's very meticulous about his details. He gets everything on point, everything like dialogue and visuals.
Everything has to be done.
What did you think of Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman's performance? Do you like them?
I like them all, yeah.
I like them all as actors, yeah. Sorry, Evan. Go on.
I'm not the biggest Owen Wilson fan, and I can't say I've seen Adrian Brody in too much, but I do like Jason Schwartzman. I've seen him in Bored to Death with Ted Danson and Zach Galifianakis, and I enjoyed him a lot in that, so it was fun to see him here. But no, all three of them I liked a lot. I think they played their characters really well, and they played off each other really well as well.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
They just bounce off each other, which is really cool. You
I
can tell they've
felt
got chemistry. Yeah, sorry, you go.
Yeah, they got real chemistry, but I feel like I don't know how Wes Anderson is directing. I don't know how much he lets his actors ad lib. Because I know he's very meticulous, as you guys have said. But it felt like some of the dialogue was so natural feeling. I feel like there might have been ad lib, some of it.
Yeah, it might have. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
It just feels really natural. It flows really well, and it leads to really natural comedic moments.
I like how some of the dialogue, like how dry it is. Like you got Jason Schwartzman, and he just looks at the Rita, the stewardess, and he just goes, "I want that stewardess."
that made me laugh the first time I went through that. That was funny.
Yeah,
It was
it's just funny.
yeah, it's very unique. I like their dynamic. My personal favorite was Peter, Adrian Brody's character, the one who always takes pain medication for his headaches.
Oh, what they call him Robbie or something.
They call him Robbie because he's always rubbing his temples. I thought that was pretty funny. Also that whole belt running gag.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm gonna need that belt back. It's like, no, you can have it. It's like, it's $6,000. I'm gonna have to have that back.
And then at the end, he's like, you know what? You keep that. You keep it. It's a gift from me and Jack.
You keep that belt. Wow.
He never said wow. Throughout the entire film, he never said wow.
He never said wow. I'm disappointed. He says wow in Cars. He says wow in wedding crashes.
I don't think Cars can stack up to the Darjeeling Limited. Just putting it out there.
I think it can.
I disagree.
No, I don't think it can.
Yeah, I've seeing Jason Schwartzman. I've seen him before. He played Gideon in Scott
Yeah,
Pilgrim.
he was in Scott Pilgrim, wasn't he?
He was, yes. He played Ash in Fantastic Mr. Fox. He was his son. Owen Wilson played the sports teacher, who gives the very highly detailed explanation of the sport whack-bat.
Oh yeah, whack-bat.
I don't think it was in the. I don't think it was in the book. I think it was in because I haven't read. the book in
Barely
years,
any of that movie is in the book. I read the book and the book is so short. It's maybe like 120 pages or something.
Yeah, most of Roald Dahl's stuff is.
And then
short.
like Wes Anderson made like an entirely different story.
Yeah, he very expanded on the world like a lot.
Yeah.
To like a very big scale. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Darjeeling Limited. I thought all three's performances were great. I love, especially a scene that stood out to me was the fight scene.
Yeah.
Oh, when he
where-
throws the belt at him
When he throws the belt and it hits him in the nose.
and he takes his
And
teeth
then
out. Or takes his one.
yeah,
tooth
and
falls
then
out.
Jack opens up the cabinet and he gets out the pepper spray, but he has to load
Oh,
it
that was fun. I did
with
like that.
with the Nang tube. I thought that was pretty.
I like the
funny.
running joke of them just doing loads of drugs, and it's like you don't need a prescription here. And they just kept like they're just
and then
doing
they had,
painkillers.
Yeah,
Cough
the
medicine.
train conductor was pretty good as well.
Oh,
I like the train conductor a lot. Yeah.
I noticed he was. Now, saying this, I might be mistaking him for someone else, but if I'm not mistaken, because I know Wes Anderson recycles actors a lot, not recycles but reuses. He played Vikram, the camera operator in Life Aquatic.
He did indeed.
Okay, good. Because I just, oh, thank God. Whew, I just needed, yeah. But yeah, he like seeing him again because Vikram was one of my favorite side characters in Life Aquatic, and seeing him in that, I was like, good Easter egg.
Another good Easter egg. Bill Murray. Just
Yeah.
running. Just a guy who misses his train. That's his entire
But then
character.
gets on the train in the later scene. Also, hang on, why was Natalie Portman on the train?
The whole thing was like just a metaphor of showing the people that they had talked to. And Natalie Portman was Jason Schwartzman's ex-girlfriend.
But that was you never saw her as Natalie Portman though. You never saw Natalie Portman on screen except.
Well,
that
you
time.
know because Jason Schwartzman is wearing a dressing gown that says Hotel Chevier, and then you see Natalie Portman sitting in a hotel room with a gown on that says the Hotel Chevier. So she's his ex-girlfriend.
Okay. Because I was watching and I was like, she just came in for the day and sat in a bed.
I mean, she flew all the way to India to shoot her scene, and they filmed it in an hour.
Yeah, because it was all on the train, weren't they? They just put different sets.
Yeah, and she's like,
Mm.
I flew all the way to India for this. Okay.
Interesting.
I did enjoy the whole, because I was reading some of the trivia on it on IMDb, and I love the fact that it wasn't a set with green screen. Wasn't anything like that. It was just they got an actual train, dressed it all up for the film, and then just set it off across India,
That's so good.
and then it's fantastic. I like stuff like that a lot.
Yeah, India does have a lot of railways as their systems, because I had seen a good example of this, or good evidence of this, is the film Lion, with Dev Patel, the story of I think it's Saru Briley.
Yes,
It was
yes.
very good film.
I love
But
that.
that show, like, he uses the train system later in the film. He uses the train system to like find his way back to his village.
Hmm.
So clearly they'd have so many like empty tracks that don't get used.
I think from what my reading was, they had to talk with whoever owns the railway systems, or at least that
Like the
railway
network.
system in India.
Yeah.
They had to have a talk with them for months to convince them to let them do it. But I think it paid off. I think it's worth the extra effort, honestly.
Yeah, because something like that would definitely throw off like a very tightly kept schedule.
Yeah.
Well, that's how most
Sure.
of India gets around. I'm pretty sure, at least rurally.
Yes.
That
But I think, paying attention to that, he probably didn't. I noticed it was only for the shots that were set on the, like, they had the moving train in the background. Because if it didn't, I'd think it might have been stopped somewhere for safety
yeah.
things too.
Probably would have been, yeah.
No, it was a real moving train. I did like the bit when they're like, the train's lost. The train's lost.
How do you
Like-
lose the trains on rails?
It just, it's just like a fun. It's just fun. Like, in fact, that's
Yeah.
just how you can describe this film. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it is fun. And like I said, it's not the kind of movie that I normally sit down and watch. And if we hadn't picked this episode, Cal, I probably wouldn't have watched it at any point in my life. But that being said, it's not. I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was curious to hear what you would think of it.
I mean, I don't.
I was going. Sorry, Evan Cole.
I don't hate, like, I don't hate most movies. It's just I'm not interested in sitting down and watching them unless I have a reason to for whatever it may be. In that case, it was your pick for the podcast, so I watched it and I enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But otherwise, I probably would never have seen it, despite the fact that I do respect Wes Anderson and I am interested in his work and what he does. That being said, I still haven't seen any of his other films at all. This is the first one I've seen in full. I've seen a bit of Grand
Well, I know
Budapest, but that's about it.
I know you're a big fan of Japanese cinema and the Japanese style, so I'd highly recommend Isle
Yeah,
of
I
Dogs,
reckon
because
you'd
he
like it.
pays a lot of respect to the Japanese culture and cinema. It's very accurate as well.
I was gonna see it in cinemas when it came out too, but for whatever reason I missed it. I think.
I've got it
was
on.
busy.
I've got it on Blu-ray. I'll post it to you.
I also have it on Blu-ray.
You'll take-
Are we flexing our Blu-ray?
No, it
collection?
was just a mention of a film that I have on Blu-ray.
Listen
I
here.
was gonna say, because we're not having this argument.
Yeah, because both of you are gonna lose.
God knows we'll lose.
But yeah, no, I liked it a lot. It's a lot of fun, and I like all the actors that I'm familiar with that were in it. Everybody that I've seen from other things I do enjoy, and I think they're at their best here. I think this is the kind of role that Owen Wilson and Adrian Brody really shine in, because they've been in other stuff that I've seen them in where they've just sort of been there.
Where they're kind of stinkers.
Where they range from either sucking to just like mediocre.
I think Adrian Brody's pretty much good in everything. He was in what was it called? The Pianist.
Well, sure. Yeah, everyone knows him for The Pianist, I'm guessing, because that's what I knew him in. And I was just like, I have a fair. I like to think that I have a fair extensive knowledge of actors and actors' names and their appearances.
I thought you were just going to say you have an extensive knowledge of Adrian Brody.
Of Adrian Brody.
Specifically Adrian Brody.
This was the first movie I've actually seen him in.
Shout out to Adrian Brody.
Shout out Adrian Brody. But Owen Wilson, I'm very familiar with, because I've seen, like,
Anaconda.
I know, yeah, a lot of comedies. Me and my cousin, we liked Wedding Crashers and a pretty good Vince Vaughn movie.
Drillbit Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Your
Drillbit
brother,
Taylor.
Vince
Oh,
Vaughn.
mate, Drillbit Taylor. I remember seeing Drillbit Taylor in cinemas. It was like, Shelby Taylor is garbage, but it's such a fun watch because it's got like these three high school kids that learn to fight from a homeless man who pretends to be a military veteran. But anyway, a note I wanted to bring up is, Evan, you said that I don't know if most of it was ad-libbed.
Mm.
I felt like, in respect to Wes Anderson and his strictness on like following the script. I know Tarantino also has that reputation of not going off the script.
He does, but at the same time, he does let his actors ad-lib, like some of the best
Yeah,
moments.
because in saying that, I was watching a clip on the Howard Stern show. I'm fairly certain it's that. If I'm wrong, I'm fairly certain you'd know. But he talks about how if actors have something that they'd suggest, he listens to them, and if it's not good, he just goes no.
Yeah.
But if it's good, he'll work on it more. Because there was something, you'd probably know this, so you'd be able to back me up. So something in Pulp Fiction was originally going to happen, but John Travolta said, "Oh, maybe that shouldn't, because we set up the movie to like Vincent, and seeing this happen, it would completely change the character."
I don't recall Pulp Fiction. I'm not as familiar with as I am with other Tarantino. Believe it or not, even though everybody loves that movie, it's not my favorite Tarantino. So I don't.
It's not mine either, personally.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know what you mean, but I'm sure it would have happened because I know that. I know that Tarantino doesn't let people ad lib often, but when he does, it's something that's, you know, as you said.
Well, I remember hearing it. So if you're interested, you should go look that up.
But you know, I think that's fair. Like that's how I'd approach it if I was the director. You know, I'd be happy to listen to people's feedback and ideas, but if it doesn't work for what my idea of what the movie should be, then I'm gonna say no.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, I think well, that's what I mean when I brought it up about the ad lib. Like it feels like it could have been because it was so natural and had good chemistry, but you know, knowing Wes Anderson, it might not have been. It might just been his scripting.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's also because Wes Anderson, Jason Schwartzman, and Owen Wilson are actually
Wilson.
friends, so they might have
Well, there you
just been able to just bounce off each other.
Well, Owen Wilson was with Wes Anderson from the beginning, actually, when he first made Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and his brother were very
Oh, Jason
involved.
Schwartzman actually helped write the movie, so that's probably why it also sounded so natural, because because when you're writing something, and it's for yourself, like you're writing your own script, you know how you talk, and I assume that would apply with a script.
Well, more so, I think you're writing for the character instead of yourself, because it's more what the actor can work with, personally, in my opinion.
Also possible.
It could have been that he also
possible,
he
yeah.
wrote those roles with those people in mind, given that he's friends with them and they're actors.
Yeah, he does tend to use the same cast, which is not wrong, which is not bad, because you know it's you're promised a standard,
Yeah.
a high standard, a high quality. So I wouldn't fault him for doing that.
I don't think it's a bad thing, and a lot of, like, you know, directors who establish themselves with a certain style or something, they end up using the same actors frequently. I think it doesn't take me out of the movies because I've
No,
seen the
not
same
at all.
people.
I think
It's good.
It improves it, I think.
Yeah,
But I know Wes Anderson is open to getting new actors in, because I know Grand Budapest, that was the first Anderson appearance of, I think, Francis McDormand, Timothy Chalamet,
Ralph
and
Fiennes, was that the first Ralph Fiennes one?
Ralph Fiennes, maybe? No, I think Ralph Fiennes was in Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I'm going.
Fairly certain. Don't quote me.
He also got Bryan Cranston in for Isle of Dogs.
Yes. And I can't remember the name, but she's in Lady Bird. I can't pronounce it, so I won't attempt, because I know I'll stuff it up. But
I know who you mean.
Yeah, the Irish actress,
Yes.
who's blown up recently.
Who's in?
She
Lady Bird.
was in Grand Budapest, and then they're bringing that 3 as well as the rest into the French Connection. No, that's a different movie.
So
That's the Gene Hackman.
Saoirse Ronan.
I think it's pronounced Saoirse. I don't know. I'm Irish. I can't say that. So
I had no idea you were Irish. What?
I'm Irish, Welsh, and German.
Das ist gut.
There you go. Bit of
The French Dispatch. That's it. I had to look it up.
That film looks really good. I'm really looking forward to that.
I haven't heard of it yet.
That is
It's his
interesting.
latest movie. But then doesn't he also have
It's
another one coming?
upcoming. No, that is his new one. That's the one that's coming out.
No, because there was another one.
Speaking of other nationalities, actually, I don't know if this is me trying to find familiarity in unfamiliar movies for me, but I noticed a lot of, especially at the beginning, the quick zooms, and on the scene with the kids in the river.
Oh, I love the zooms.
Yeah, that I feel like that was a very Italian. Well, not even Italian. It's just a very 70s thing. I know Tarantino does a lot because 70s films are his thing as well. I enjoyed that a lot. I don't know. I felt it was very Italian because, especially at the beginning, how it has that really wide shot that zooms down into the car. I know that's the thing that a lot of Italian films that I enjoy do that a lot, where they have a really wide shot starting somewhere, then they zoom onto a character or an object or a vehicle or something going through that scene. I don't know if that was his inspiration or if that's just something that he enjoys doing. I think it's a really.
I think it's just one of his things.
I mean,
I'm unfamiliar with Italian
Yeah, I'm
cinema.
not as
Well,
not as-
no.
But I do know what you're talking about, Evan, because I know I immediately thought of when the bride goes to, I can't remember her name, but it's in Kill Bill Volume 2, where she finally goes up to the what's the one with the eye patch?
Daryl Hannah. I can't remember her name in the movie though. I
Great.
know who you mean though.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, anyway. What,
Eye patch.
what fun! I thought you'd remember. Doesn't remember.
I'm sorry. I thought
Um,
that. Oh, actually, I am,
No,
but-
no. I'm not saying that. But it doesn't help the listeners. But I know when she goes to Daryl Hannah's character, it has that smash zoom as she exits the trailer, because they had. I'm just going blank today. Something's off. Michael Madsen's character.
Yeah.
They had she killed him, and then they had the character come out and like the smash cut reveal, the smash zoom. That's like one that instantly came to mind.
Yeah, he does a lot more in Django Unchained as well.
I haven't seen Django.
It's quite good.
Isn't that example after he shoots the Samuel Jackson? Doesn't it smash zoom up the stairs?
I
that-
think it does. I don't quite recall. I remember the one that's become a bit of a meme where it zooms into Leo DiCaprio's face.
That's my
after he goes, "You
favorite
will?"
meme at the moment of Leonardo DiCaprio just laughing.
Oh, that is, yeah. I've seen
Blows
that,
the
I've
smoke
seen
out of his
that
nose.
happen.
You will?
Yeah, people. I've seen one where it's one about where you throw a ball to your dog, but the ball's still in your hand, and the dog like mistakes you for actually throwing it and runs after it.
This is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, it's just him holding it, like they've badly photoshopped a tennis ball into his hand.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, I thought this film was great. I thought it was for a Wes Anderson film. It's entertaining. It's not boring.
No, not at all.
It's like you don't really zoom, you don't really snooze off. Like I found Isle of Dogs towards the third act kind of at a slow point. But that's probably because I've seen it more than 3 times at this point.
Well, aren't his other movies a lot longer as well? Because I was surprised. I looked at the runtime, and I was like, oh, it's only an hour and a half. This is really short.
It's brisk.
Like-
It does feel very brisk.
Yeah, even
I think it is the shortest.
even for like a modern film, because I know like 90 minutes, pre 2000s was the norm, but I feel like as of late 2 hours is more of like the runtime for mainstream films.
Nolan definitely made that a popularity.
What, making films long?
Yes.
I'm not sure that was such a good thing.
I mean, it's a good thing if you're enjoying the film.
Oh, this is a big argument. This is a lot of big argument topic.
Do you prefer
that I think cinephiles
Do you prefer
have them.
longer movies?
I honestly don't care if the story's good. I'll watch it.
If I'm enjoying it, I'd like it to go on. but there's a point where it could go too far. Even if I'm enjoying a film, I'm like, all right, you can end.
Yeah,
now.
I agree with you there because it can get to a point where it just kind of feels like the director's having a wank.
Yeah.
It's like this is just
That being said,
come
I
on.
can't think of any movie where I've thought that. Like, I can only think of movies that I didn't like to begin with that I also felt that
The
in.
Irishman.
I can't think of. I disagree. I like The Irishman, and I didn't get bored.
Interesting.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. I like it. It's not as good as Goodfellas.
Nah, see, that's another argument because people are comparing Goodfellas to The Irishman and saying, "There's like, Martin, you've done this already."
I don't think so. I think they're different enough, at least in my mind.
Look, cinephiles are just kind of some of the most annoying people on the planet,
You say that, and yet we're sitting here doing a podcast on movies.
and we all study film.
Yeah.
Deborah Mailman is laughing in her office as she said, "I told you not to make a fucking podcast."
And all
I told
and
you not.
and
to make
all
a
of the people from Criterion who we've bought Criterion collections from are laughing.
Oh, they're laughing. Every company I bought Blu-rays of that we've got Arrow Video is laughing. Second Sight is laughing for our RoboCop and Return of the Living Dead copies.
I'm looking at my Blu-ray collection now, and I've noticed I have a lot of Village Roadshow, Paramount, and what's another one? Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Like those are my main three that I've noticed now.
I don't think I've ever counted out of those big companies how many films they have. Maybe that's my next project.
I just see a lot of because I know I have Harry Potter 1 through 8, and they have all the Village Roadshow. All Rocky films are Metro Goldwyn
I've
Mayer.
got one Village Roadshow, which is The Wolf of Wall Street.
And The Godfather is Paramount. Same. I think Paramount does most of my favorite films because Steven Spielberg's The Terminal, that's on there. Robert Zemeckis' Forrest Gump, the Godfather trilogy, that's all Paramount. Sorry, not Metro Goldwyn.
I think Fox for me is the one that has the most. Actually, that's a lie.
Isn't Fox Metro Goldwyn?
I
I know Fox is tied to one of them.
Probably. I don't recall. I don't pay enough attention to companies like that, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Actually, I'm lying because as I say this, I'm now turning around at my shelf and going, hang on a second. A lot of the movies I watch aren't from any of those.
Are we talking about studios or publishers?
Studios.
Okay, I quite like A24. I think A24 is probably my favorite studio.
That's fair.
I don't know, just
I know A24 is a big talk in cinephile.
We're talking
Oh,
talking
no.
about cinephiles and talking about cinephiles and you go, oh yeah, I love A24. That's my main collection.
They've got a movie coming out that I really want to see. The Green something.
The Green King or
Green
something.
Knight?
with Dev
Is
Patel.
the Green Knight?
Green Knight.
The Green
Oh,
Knight,
I
yeah,
want to
that's
see that movie so bad, but it got delayed.
Yeah, you showed me the trailer and
I'm pretty sure
I
I've
thought,
sent
wow.
everyone the trailer at least twice.
fair enough.
In fact,
I've done the same thing
and I put it
for
on my story.
I've done the same thing for Possessor.
I know A24 has a very, very extensive record, and they make good films. I'm not saying they don't, but I've noticed A24 has kind of become a meme, same as Pulp Fiction with arty cinema boys. Like I know I've seen TikToks where it's like name 3 things the art movie boy makes you do when you go to his house. It's like look at his Vans collection, look at his Tame Impala records, and watch Pulp Fiction.
What was the first
And
one?
I don't know. Look at his Vans. Because I noticed that. I think that was.
I've
I'm
got
paraphrasing.
I've got all
But-
3 of those things.
Oh, you fucking scum.
You've become the thing you very.
Pulp Fiction has become such a meme now that I think it's kind of deteriorated for me. It's not a bad film. I'm not too fond of it now. It's like,
I wasn't anyway. I don't think it's a bad film. I love all of Tarantino's movies, but I had this conversation with you, I think yesterday, Seb. But
maybe.
my preference for like how I rank Tarantino films, Pulp Fiction's always been on the lower end. I don't know. I probably have weird picks for my Tarantino favorites compared to other people's.
What's your
Well, your main pick is Death Proof, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I was about to ask what
Followed by-
your favorite one
that's
was,
because-
but yeah, Death Proof. That makes sense.
Followed by The Hateful Eight.
That's because you're a big fan of Western, and I mean Western as in cowboy Western, and
And
grindhouse cinema.
yeah, well, that's exactly why. And it's just like, look, to be fair, Tarantino does have a massive wank over the movies he likes in each movie he makes, and I don't care. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, but it's like I hate saying this, but it's like
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, it's
I'm not wrong, but I cringed as I said it.
I cringed as I heard it.
Everyone cringed as it came through their headphones. Oh,
We've lost our one guy from Belgium because of
Oh
that.
no!
No, he is no longer having a wank. Oh no.
Anyway, to bring it back to what I was saying,
Yes. Let's get back on topic.
I don't mind that. That's I can't even say it now. I don't mind that he's having a wank over the movies he likes in his own movies.
Stop.
Because I'm making it work. No, I don't mind because I enjoy those movies as well, and I can see where he's coming from with that passion. So
Yeah,
he's very
you
passionate,
you
can't say
cannot say that he's not passionate.
yeah,
That's one passionate.
Stop!
this bit's over. I'm shutting your butt down. Anyway,
No, fuck you. I don't want you to.
Are you going to explain that meme to the audience?
I don't think they need to.
fucking-
As long as they know who David Lynch is, I'm sure they get them. I'm sure they understand.
David Lynch is a crackpot. I don't like him.
He's a
I like.
he's a very nice guy.
If there's one thing I can respect, it's his honesty. Like he'll tell you.
He'll
what he
tell
really
you to
thinks.
go
No.
fuck yourself for
He's not-
watching a movie on your iPhone.
But he's not an asshole about it. Like
Well,
there's a recent for those who aren't as big movie fans. I'm speaking to the general. David Lynch is kind of like the redhead girl from this latest season of The Bachelor, who's like, if I don't like your shit, I'll call you out on it. That's David Lynch. He's like, if you watch a fucking movie on your phones, I will call you out about it. It's sort of like that. If I can make.
I
that
can't say
connection.
I can't
So
say I
French
watched
connection.
The Bachelor.
I'm not talking to you cinephiles. I'm talking to the general public who also watch The Bachelor.
I don't think any of those people are interested in our podcast. But go on.
No, those are the people who stay for the first 5 minutes and get bored.
Yeah,
That's why our audience retention is so cooked.
because
It's not cooked. It's just very low.
we're Australian, and all of Australians only watch Neighbours and The Bachelor
And Gogglebox.
and Gogglebox.
Wow, we really strayed
did I
far
forget?
from the Darjeeling Limited.
We have.
I would love to see a cinephile on Gogglebox.
I don't like this.
I'd love to see David Lynch on Gogglebox.
This is shit. How can people watch this?
You-
I don't like it.
Can you imagine how that would be?
David
My
Lynch,
God.
I'd be entertained.
David Lynch and Wes Anderson on Gogglebox.
If Gogglebox was just famous directors watching crap TV, I'd watch it.
Or
But I don't think this
Quentin. I feel like Quentin could make something out of The Bachelor.
could.
Wes Anderson is just
He
such a nice guy that he'd be like David Lynch would be like yelling and swearing at the TV, and Wes Anderson would be like, I just think you need to calm down.
I wouldn't put
No,
them
you
together.
would. You'd have to put them
I want to
together.
see. I want to see Martin Scorsese watch The Bachelor.
I love that meme. That where Your Movie Sucks brought it up, where Bong Joon-ho shouts out Quentin Tarantino and he does the piece.
Mm.
It just looks like he's saying two. When he puts up the 2 fingers means 2 feet away. It means like maintain your distance from me, and I always think of that, and it just makes me chuckle. Also, when Bong Joon-ho also shouts out Martin Scorsese, he gives his thanks, and like he gets a standing ovation, which I don't know why.
Because
It didn't make sense to me as to why Martin Scorsese.
Oh,
got a
that
standing
that made me
ovation
so
just for,
that
like,
irritated me because he's like, oh yeah, this quote is from the famous Martin Scorsese, and he's like, well, I did say that, and you know what, I am Martin Scorsese, and you know what, have you seen my latest movie? Like you could just tell he just wanted to tell everyone about himself. I think he did.
I
think
think
he
it was a strange reaction of the audience. He just put his hands together and gave his thanks
Nah.
to Bong Joon-ho, and everyone's just like, "Nah, good on you, Martin." And I'm like, I don't think it was necessary to give I think it was 11 minutes. So just move on.
on that note, I do want to bring up. I don't know if you guys are aware. I think I sent it to you. But
Who'd you send it to the audience?
yes, to all the audience, I DM'd each and every one
all
of you.
5 of them.
Yes.
All 5 of them.
All 16 of them on our Instagram.
Do we have 16
Yeah,
followers
no,
on
I said-
Instagram? That's crazy.
Yep.
Anyway,
Didn't even realize.
before we get off topic,
Don't do a me segue, alright?
Criterion is putting out The Irishman on Blu-ray, which
Yes, and also Ghost Dog with Forrest Whitaker.
I'm
It
gonna
is,
get
yes.
that. I'm gonna get.
I
Ghost
sent
Dog.
that because I thought you'd like that, Callum, because I know you talked about that film
It's a great
a couple of
movie.
times. But yeah, no, I think it's good that Netflix is enabling physical media releases of their films.
Yeah, I've got. In fact, I was with you guys when I got all of House of Cards.
No, I think it's good because as in case you weren't aware, I'm a big fan of physical media. I prefer it over watching things online. But I don't expect it of Netflix or any other streaming service for their original properties. But I'm glad that Netflix is doing it because one that I've wanted for a while is The Night Comes for Us, the Indonesian action film that's out on Netflix, and a couple other ones that they've funded.
Well, in saying that, they've had The Irishman and Uncut Gems have a cinematic run before they put it on Netflix.
Because they're isn't Uncut Gems A24 as well?
Yeah, it is.
I think no, you're right. Yeah, I think they just had the rights to it before they put it on release. Because I know on Amazon they have an Uncut Gems Blu-ray.
I've seen it a couple of times.
Did they? You'd probably know. If you don't, then I got to stop saying that you would. But did Uncut Gems have a printed release here?
No, not in Australia so far.
What?
Okay, good.
It might have had a DVD. In fact, I don't even think it did actually.
Well, it's on Amazon, so for those who want it.
Yeah.
Is that good? I've never seen
I
it.
was talking to my.
I like.
Never seen it.
It's the most stressed I've ever been watching a movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
is
stop.
it as stressful as watching Whiplash?
I'd say more so.
What?
Yeah.
Is it as stressful as watching Jack and Jill?
Don't know about
I
that
haven't
one.
seen
Might
Jack
not
and
quite
Jill.
reach that level.
Is that the one with Jeremy Renner?
I've never seen Jack and Jill.
It's the one with Al Pacino and the coffee ad.
Oh.
Dunkachino.
No, it's a Pepto Bismol ad.
No, it's not. Dunkachino.
Oh yeah, that's the Dunkachino.
No, I
movie.
swear to God, it's a Pepto Bismol ad.
It's the Dunkachino.
No, I'm pretty
You're wrong.
sure Whiplash
swear
is
to-
the
I
most
swear- I
stressful
swear to God.
movie I've ever seen.
I can't.
My dad didn't like Whiplash because he said J.K.
He hasn't even
Simmons swears too
seen it,
much,
and
turn
he's
off.
just like, "Yeah, this is bad."
No, we were watching it on TV, and it
Oh,
was
your
that
dad, I
scene
thought- oh,
where
okay.
Who? Wait, who are you saying?
No,
who
don't
are you
worry,
saying?
don't worry.
Who you think?
Yeah.
Talking about your dad.
No.
My dad. We were watching it on TV. No, I haven't hung out with your dad, but me and my dad, we were watching it on TV, and it's that scene where he says, "Not my fucking tempo," and he made me turn it off because it's like he's swearing too much. It's pissing me off. And I'm like, but it's good. He goes, "I don't care." We had to turn it off. I'm like, all right.
Conversely, my mum, who still yells at me if I swear,
He swears like a sailor.
she doesn't.
I've never met her.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
That's a
But
false
she loved
claim.
Whiplash.
Yeah, I
Love
bet she
Whiplash,
did.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like the connotations of that.
She just like I don't know. I guess she just likes really stressing people out. Not my tempo.
That's possible.
Well, if Evan gets a cymbal thrown at him, then
And a
you-
chair, an entire chair just lobbed at him. Were
I
you
do love
rushing or were you dragging?
I gotta admit, it made me. Whiplash makes me laugh because of just how insane J.K. Simmons is.
Didn't he win an Oscar for that movie?
I think he did,
He,
or at
d-
least
he
nominated.
deserves an Oscar for that movie. I'll check.
The
He deserves an Oscar for playing J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
He deserves an.
I'm sorry.
He deserves it.
The comedic timing of throwing that chair killed me the first time I've seen Whiplash, and it still makes me chuckle now.
Well, how many times did I throw the chair? Or was that like a one-take thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, he
I
did.
don't know.
He did win.
Anyway,
We have gone.
my point with
off
my
track.
point with bringing up Whiplash is that I've seen it too many times. I've seen it like 4 times now. I had to do it in high school. I had to watch it in high school.
It won 3 Oscars. It
Yeah.
won.
I had to watch it in high school, so I've seen it too many times. So the effect of it's worn off.
It
on
won
me.
best sound mixing, best film editing, and best supporting actor. J.K. Simmons.
There you go.
I know it's. I think it's one of my my close friend Zach's favorite films among Spider-Man, which I know he's seen Spider-Man more times than count.
Shout out to
Zach. Shout out to Zach. He can quote Spider-Man blindfolded, but That's not. I've seen him do it. It's not a joke. It's
I can
it's
do that with
scary.
The Incredibles. because of how much I watched it as a child.
Children do that. Side note: have you noticed children only watch like? One
Oh,
film
when I was
constantly?
about, here's a bit of a story. When I was about, I don't know, probably about 9, my mum rented a copy of the Dark Crystal, and it was for, I think it was for a week
no.
on the school holidays, and I watched it probably about twice every day for that week, and then we had to return it.
I did that with The Mist when I was like 7 or 8.
I haven't seen The Mist.
Is in the Stephen King Mist?
Yeah, Frank Darabont, The Mist.
How old were you when you watched this?
8, 7 or 8, I think.
That's
Whenever it
probably
came out, like a
that's
year
probably
after
a
it
bit
came
young
out.
to watch The Mist.
Well,
That's like watching Shawshank Redemption as a baby. Just like, yeah,
Well,
this is prime cinema.
every movie I like now, I saw probably at an age that was too young. You know, like that's when I loved horror and action movies that I was too young to watch. 'Cause my dad showed me them.
I'm not sure I would
But, like,
like
If I
the Dark Crystal now. I haven't tried watching it, but it's still very disturbing to me just looking at pictures of it.
so Jim
Yeah.
Jim Henson yeah, Jim Henson's pretty good. And I don't think he does a voice in it, but sorry, my throat is bad today. I can't remember if I did that with a movie. My mum probably knows. She knows I was a big fan of Thomas the Tank Engine as a child. But I know my younger sister like loved Monsters Inc. when she was young. Like Monsters Inc. would, you know, when you don't touch a DVD menu, it would just
Oh, yeah.
replay.
Mhm.
We got to that level where you wouldn't even have to press play; it would just restart. And she'd watch it from start to finish, and then she'd be like, again, be like, all right. I leave the room for an hour and a half. I come back later to see it. And I'm like, again, okay, cool. All right.
No, yeah, I did that too. I always rented the same bunch of movies as a kid, and I can't remember what they are now, to be honest with you. But like I did do that a lot. There's a lot of films. But
I've done
remember.
that with.
I don't remember
Speaking of
ones.
yeah, on the topic of this week's podcast, Wes Anderson. I've done that with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've watched that movie. It must
That's a
be probably
solid
about
movie,
40 times I've watched that movie.
I've seen it in cinemas.
I saw it in cinemas
with
as
my
well
dad.
when
That
I
was
was.
a
When
good
did it come
memory.
out? 2009 or something?
Probably. Yes, it did.
Yeah, because it was before I moved to the house that I moved to, and I moved in 2011. So, and it came, yeah, 2009. I was dead right. So I saw that in cinemas. One of the few films I saw in cinemas with my mum.
I can't relate.
She's still with us. Let's not.
Oh no, it's just
Let's-
that I
let's-
usually
let's-
watch movies with my dad.
Let's make that clear. She's still with us. Because we got a bit quiet there. Mrs. is still with us. Oh fuck! I doxed us. I'm gonna blur that out. Don't worry. Nina's a bit sorry. I'll
Thank
I'll
you.
cut this bit. Anyway, Wes Anderson. I thought it was a pretty good. It was a pretty good.
Well,
I can't do it.
we've gone.
I'm gonna cut this bit
We've
out.
gone 4 episodes without having a major fuck up like this. So I think that's a good record.
It's not that bad.
We've not had to cut out
It's not-
anything yet so far. You know what? Don't cut it out. It's funny. Leave it in.
We'll
Unless you
talk
want your
we'll talk
the
about
names.
it off air.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off air.
Um,
I'm gonna bleep it.
there's-
I'm gonna bleep it. Anyway.
one thing I did like about this movie is that how deep it was. Did anyone else get that? Like the layers that there was.
It got really sad towards like the middle
Absolutely.
of the film. I noticed.
Yeah. But I like that it went down and then it picked itself up again towards the end.
Yeah, like how they're like, oh, she's gone, and then they're like, well, you know what? Why are we trying? She clearly doesn't want to talk to us, like their mum, and then so they just go home. And I thought that was just a really nice ending.
I was surprised that it ended. I was like, oh, there's not a, like I was shocked that it ended so suddenly. But upon thinking about it, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'm
it's a
fine with
really
that
nice
ending. It worked. Yeah, it works.
I agree.
It just kind of ties everything together.
Mm.
One last bit of trivia for it, or unless we have more trivia.
I don't know anything.
Jason Schwartzman never wears shoes for the entire production of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, he
that
just
guy,
never
was he?
wore shoes.
He was that
yeah,
guy.
just
was
a
he?
guy with no shoes. Like if you look in
I
all of
think
his
I read
scenes,
as
he's
well.
not wearing any shoes.
Conversely, I think Owen Wilson to have his limp.
Oh, he put a lime.
I think he had a lime.
Yeah,
He put a lime in his shoe. Yeah.
He put a
yeah, he
lime
put
in
a
his
lime in his
in his
shoes to
shoe.
give him his limp.
put a bundle of tissues, man. Put it on line.
I don't know.
Well, so it wouldn't squish.
I don't know. Look, it's just
Is that?
I don't know.
No,
Is that
it
why?
was
I
just
don't
a
know why.
lime. He just
Ask
put a
him.
lime in his shoes so he could limp.
I don't stand for this.
Boy, ask
Get
him.
him on the podcast. We'll
Shout
ask
out
him.
Owen Wilson, and we can ask him.
Owen Wilson.
Shout out to Owen Wilson. Why'd you put a lime in your shoe, you loon?
Owen Wilson, please comment on the video. Why'd you put a lime in your shoe on Darjeeling Limited?
Wes put a gun to his head and said, "Put the lime in."
Oh,
Put the lime in it, or you're
okay,
out.
wow, I'll put this in my shoe.
Wow, I'll put the lime. I'd rather eat it. Wow. It's too many Owen Wilson wows for an episode. I'm gonna stop it. Anyway, final thoughts. What do you guys think of it? Callum, it's your pick. You go first.
I love all of Wes Anderson's movies. I think it's just nice. It's just a really nice movie. Like we watch a lot of movies. Well, not we as a group, but like in general, there's a lot of movies that are like just really dark, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like there are.
Most
Well,
of
there are
them.
like
Sorry,
there are there are
sorry,
times
God.
I didn't say sorry.
there
I'm
are
clarifying.
times when that is nice to watch. Like you feel like you want to watch like a dark movie, but this one's it's just fun. It's just really uplifting and fun. Yeah, I love it.
Mm. Do you want to give it a rating out of 10, or is that?
I'm gonna give it a 10.
is-
Are we not following our format?
How many Darjeeling Limited trains do I give it out of 10? I give it a 10. Obviously, I love it. I fucking love this movie.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Evan?
Yeah, no. As I said, I haven't seen any other Wes Anderson films in full. I think, from what I gather, it's weak is probably the wrong word, but it's one of his lesser films. I would
I don't
guess.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay.
I think so.
Well, I was gonna say. That fucks up my whole point, doesn't it? Anyway, I was gonna say that if it's one of his weaker films, then that's probably a good starting point. So, because I think you can only get better from there. But I guess if you can't see it that way, that's fair. But no, I probably will check out his other films at some stage in the future. I did enjoy this one more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's a fun movie. I've said it a couple times before, but it's not the kind of movie that I go out of my way to watch normally. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it a lot. It's very solid, very funny, very entertaining. A lot of actors I like in it. The cinematography is beautiful. The camera works great.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I give it. I'd say like 8.5 Man-Eating Tigers out of 10.
Nice. Seb?
My take on it, it's Wes Anderson, so obviously you're not gonna be disappointed. Whether a train ride to India is for you, that's your preference. I prefer his animation and Life Aquatic over this one, just as my personal two picks. But I thought Adrian Brody, I think this is his first Anderson appearance. So it was good to see him because I've never seen his work before. Owen Wilson I'm very familiar with, Jason Schwartzman very familiar with. It was good to be exposed to a new actor and see and relate to Peter's character. I'd give it 7 venomous street snakes out of 10.
Nice.
Do we have any plugs? We have to plug stuff.
Yeah,
I could plug my own channel, but I still haven't made any videos of my own, so probably not worth it.
We'll make a video, then you can plug it.
Maybe in my next episode. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe I don't think.
No,
fuck
I
you,
will.
I don't want to plug it.
We've got Instagram, which is Rewind Rental Podcast, I think.
Yes, Rewind Mental Podcast
At Instagram. Yep, very good.
That's its at handle. on Instagram.
We have
Do we-
an email if you want to email us recommendations, which is
That's going to be in the bio below.
rentalrewind.biz@gmail.com.
Story behind that, I fucked it up, but
It's
You know,
fine. Live and
I've said
learn.
it. Live and learn. It's stuck that
Do
way.
we want to also talk about the thing we were talking about before that we may be starting at some stage?
Yeah,
I think we'll keep that under wraps.
not yet, not
Okay.
yet. But we've got something coming up, which should be a lot of fun because we're changing
Keep 'em in
because we're
suspense.
changing RSS feeds, and yeah,
It's not big. It's just typical business, but
business is
it's fun.
business.
They'll never go against the family, Jerry. Anyway, thank you for listening. I've been Seb, joined by
We appreciate
Callum and Evan.
Thank you.
This
every
has
every
been-
single listener, all 5 of you.
especially the Belgium, the 2 from Belgium.
That's
Actually,
true.
'cause we have more than 2, and we
He's
also
told
have
his friend. He's brought his
Pardon?
friend on.
and his friend. Yes. Thank you to SoundCloud Statistics for that, for exposing him. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Real One Rental. Cheerio.
Catch you next
See
time.
ya.